Hey guys, it's your girl Mimi, and I'm making this video just to talk about my experience of emotional abuse. Um, they call it CPA, which is child to parent abuse. It's not something that's commonly talked about, but I feel like I'm not the only person. Well, I know I'm not the only person, but it's more of us that are out there dealing with this and probably don't talk about it. This topic is really serious to me because it it has affected my life in so many ways. And today I just wanted to be vulnerable and be vocal about my experience to maybe even help someone else who is going through this with their children and help them navigate how to get help and or how to heal emotionally and protect themselves from emotional abuse from children, well, from their children. The stigma behind um, child to parent abuse. And the stigma is that, maybe the person is an unfit parent, or the stigma that there has to be more going on and that's why this child is being this way. A lot of people begin to question a parent, like, what's really going on behind closed doors. Uh, I think that some people go in with being abused by their children and maybe don't speak on it to other people because it's the feeling of shame, guilt, embarrassment to say like I'm afraid of my child. Um, and a lot of people write off some of this abuse as, oh, that's just they're just acting out or they're going through a phase, and it's like, nah, your kid might be mentally off. Your kid might be a psychopath. I know for a fact that my child is not diagnosed as a psychopath because she's too young, but she's definitely a psychopath. And what I'm more fearful of is who am I sending out into the world? It bothers me every day. Um, so, yeah, here we are. Let's get into it. So in 2024, my child was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and bipolar traits. Because she's under the age of 18, they could not directly diagnose her with what her actions were revealing to them. They can only say that these are traits. When my daughter was diagnosed with bipolar traits, her psychiatrist said that she wanted to further evaluate her because during conversations with her, she would see a switch. And it was a switch of personalities. She wanted to see if she could possibly draw them out. And so when she said that, I was like, what do you mean pull them out? Like, what the hell is this switch? I'm like, this is crazy. But it wasn't anything that I hadn't already seen because I will always tell people that my daughter is a chameleon. And a chameleon in a sense of depending on what environment she's in is what you're going to get from her. Like, whoever she's around, she takes on to their personality and will literally become them. And it's kind of scary. So I always knew for the past 2 or 3 years, I had to be worried of who she's around because she will pick up their traits and she will be like them if she's around them. Like if she's around someone who may be a lesbian, now I'm gay. Which is not uncommon because kids are still trying to figure out who they are. That's what I summed it up as. Kids are trying to figure out who they are and stuff like that. And, they're learning who they are by being around the people that they are, what they absorb and things like that. But this was kind of like on a completely different level. So, all of this craziness with my child started in about, I want to say summer of 2022, like right before the school year had started. And my child, was doing like really weird stuff, like having food underneath her bed, like plates of food, Food in the drawers with her clothes, hiding food in her closet. The room was scary. Like her bedroom was like, I didn't like going in there. It was just dirty, food everywhere. She would make concoctions of stuff. And when I say concoctions, it could be of food, cleaning products, hair products. And she would make them and then just hide them over the house. Hide them in her room, under the bed, in drawers and closets. They would, and I would just find them. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? To me, I'm like, okay, she's just being a kid. This is just something that she wants to do. Not knowing that this was the beginning of what would lead up to what is probably my daughter's, I think she's a psychopath. When I was telling people that, and I was like, hey, I think my daughter's a psychopath, and they were like, nah, she just, going through something. She probably got her issues, but a psychopath is kind of reaching. What kind of like confirmed it for me was when I was on the phone with her doctor one day, and I said to her, I was like, I think my daughter's a psychopath. And she was like, oh, well, she gets it from her father. And I was like, this lady just confirmed that my child is a psychopath. It scared the hell out of me, but I wasn't shocked. So anywho, it started out with the concoctions and stuff like that. And so I would go into her room and we would have arguments, like clean the stuff up. And during our arguments, my daughter would act very erratic, and she would be like, why are you doing this? And mommy, please, mommy. And I'm like, I just want you to clean up your room, like start with the clothes, let's pick up the trash. But those simple steps for her was too overwhelming, and she would just spaz out. When I would go to put her under punishment and I would take her phone, it wasn't like a regular, hey, give me your phone and that's that. It would be her following me, like in the form of intimidation, around the house, like over my shoulder, like, give me my phone. If I shut the door and I got the phone in her room, she would bang on my door, going, mommy. This would go and go and go and go and go. And so everyone kept saying, well, what is in the phone that she doesn't want you to see? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even have her passcode. I'm like, I don't know what it is. But her attachment to the phone was like not normal at all. It was I don't care what extent I have to go through to get this phone. I'm going to drive you crazy to get my phone back. I'm not going to accept this punishment. I'm not going to do anything until I get this phone. And so in 2022, when I would take the phone, she would, like if I left the phone on the dresser, if I went to sleep, she would take the phone. I wake up, where's the phone? I don't know. I don't have the phone. And I'm like, there's no one else in this house but us. Like, my son isn't going to take the phone. And so I had to play hide and go seek. Where's the phone? Go and search and do our stuff. And she's like, why are you in my stuff? And I'm like, you have the phone. So I'll find the phone and I'm like, you're just so disrespectful. If I had the phone in my drawers or something, if I would move around the house and go downstairs in the kitchen, she would go through all of my drawers and stuff to find the phone and take it back, and then again say, I don't have the phone. I'm just like, like this is crazy. So my daughter began to have problems in school, and it had got to the point where as though every single day I would get phone calls about my daughter's erratic behavior in school. It was literally driving me insane. And so she began to be very disrespectful. It was her way or the highway. And I'm just like, it gotta be the kids at the school. They're like, she's hanging with the wrong crowds and stuff. So I told her dad, I'm like, hey, I need you to come and get this child. So we had a conversation with me and him. We were walking from the shopping plaza, and he was like, I'm not taking her with me. He was like, I'm trying to buy a house. I got stuff I'm trying to do, and I'm not going to let this little girl my life. And I was like, we're talking about our child, not just mine. It's like, I'm not asking you to watch my dog. And so he said to me during the walk, he said, I'm waiting for her to do whatever she want to do, and if she fuck up her life, when she's ready for help, then I'll be there to help pick up whatever pieces it is that we can shamble together. And I was like, not my child. Like, hell no. You know, people around me are like, you got to get her help. This is not normal. And so I'm just like, if I get this little girl help and she talk to someone and I'm telling them about what she's doing, they're going to think I'm a bad parent. They're going to think it was so much shame and guilt. Like, how are they going to look at me? Right? But it made the situation worse because I went during that time period of seeking help from family members and friends. It was only making her condition get worse of like, you know, her mental health. So I took it upon myself to say, hey, you know, it got to be the environment with the school. You hang with the wrong crowd. Her social life was like detrimental to her at school, whereas though I had got a call that they had like some, okay, good baby. They had got like a call that someone had reported that her and a friend had got into it. So she sent the friend a picture of a knife up to her wrist and said that she was going to kill herself because they were having an argument. So I'm like, all right, we need to start from scratch because this is just insane. Maybe if I put you in a different school, on a different side of town, let's move out of county, put you around some different type of kids, you got a fresh start, you know, clean slate. So I sold my house. Didn't really want to have to sell my house, but the daddy wouldn't take her, right? He already made that clear. I'm not taking her. So after I sell my house, putting a pin in the fact that he wouldn't take her, she begins to stop. I want you to stop. She begins to have the same behaviors at school, like using triangulation to put teachers against each other, and like starting conflict between students. It was just every day the child wasn't going to school to learn. The child was going to school to literally terrorize these people, terrorize